to get into it, won't you dance with me?
Hi guys! In today's video I wanted to sit down and talk to you about my very first year of university. If you've never seen my face before, hi, I'm Varia. I have a cute little son and a wonderful boyfriend, so if you'd like to see more of our future videos, make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on so you don't miss those uploads, subscribe to my boyfriend, and follow our social media below. I do feel that it's been a long time since I've sat down and really talked to you guys personally, you know, and in my bed. I figured I'd switch up the scenery a little bit. It's super bright out my window and I'm definitely should be sitting over there, but I'm sitting here, so that's why everything is slightly discolored, but whatever. I have some tea here to assist us in this little cozy get together, you know. So I wanted to make this video and I wanted it to be more of just you know, sit down on the couch, drink some tea kind of talk versus advice, and I will have that coming up for you guys soon. But I just wanted to sit down and talk about mostly my experience in my first year of university. Nothing is written down for this video at all, so I apologize if it's a little scattered, but I just wanted to share my thoughts. For those of you that don't know, I am a criminal justice student entering my second year in the fall. I did 3 semesters, fall, winter, and spring over the last year. I feel I don't have a normal college life experience as an average student would, so I figured it'd be interesting for you guys to kind of get a little bit more insight and then for me just to share. So as I do have a son, I don't necessarily have as many hours to dedicate to schoolwork and staying at school later or working on group projects together. Like, that kind of stuff becomes very, very difficult when the earliest I can get to class is like 9 and the latest I can start a class is like 2 or 2:30. As you can imagine, I personally can probably never make an 8 or an 8:30 class just because I have to get up, I have to get ready, I have to get Stefan up and ready, like he needs to go to daycare. I just cannot, I have to get up at like 4 a.m. if I want to make an 8 o'clock class. So just to me, it doesn't make sense. So 9 a.m. was the earliest I would start. And then I would have to leave school by 4:30 at the absolute latest to go and pick up my son. So really, I couldn't start a class very late. And I feel an average student has the opportunity to stay later at school or take a later class because they don't have the obligation of a child. And in no way am I framing that to be a negative thing, it's just reality. I cannot stay at school until 6 p.m. to work on something because that's just not realistic for me. I also feel when you start university and are planning to go to university, a lot of people tell you, oh, you're going to make lifelong friends and it's going to be an amazing time. And I can't say that that's not true, but for me personally, I don't think I've made as many friends and I don't think I've bonded with them as much as, say, somebody else. Not only can I not stay later at school and maybe, you know, meet up with somebody and just, you know, study or work together or whatever, but I don't necessarily enjoy or want to go out, which is what a lot of people my age do. A lot of people go to bars, they go to clubs, they go to house parties, whatever. For one, I don't necessarily enjoy that scene or want to be a part of it. But 2, I obviously have Stefan and it just doesn't make sense for me. And I'm not at all knocking anybody in any shape or form that is contributing to partying and enjoying and having a good time. Like, whatever, you do you. That's amazing that you are able to find a place of pause from all of the craziness going on in school. Just for me, it's not that. And for those of you that are wondering, where I am, 18 is the legal age, so everybody that I know and friends with and goes to college are all at minimum of 18 years old, so that's not an issue if that's what you're concerned. So in a way, I do feel that some of my friendships and the potential friendships and stronger bonds have somewhat been jeopardized by my lifestyle. But I don't regret it, or I don't wish I wasn't a mom kind of thing. Like, of course, yeah, it's great. And you know, I did make some really great friends that I'm close with, and we're all in the same program, and we all just talk often, and whatever, we go to each other with things. The important thing here is find friends that will like you for who you are. And I'm a mom, and I have a 2-year-old, and I don't want to stay out till 3 a.m. drinking and eating McDonald's because that's not what I want to do, and it's something I can't do because I have a child that wakes up at 6 a.m. And you know, I do have friends that accommodate that. And like my boyfriend, for example, he's the exact same way. He doesn't like to go out. He doesn't like to do all these things that most kids our age are doing, because we're very much old people and we like to stay home and go to bed early, you know? Also, I feel when I walked into university, I assumed that professors would be incredible and just godsend, and all the crappy teachers are left in grade school. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I did come across some honestly terrible professors, and what sucks a little bit more than it did in high school is the fact that now you're paying a bunch of money to take a class that you have to pass, otherwise that money just goes to waste. And it happens, you know, people do fail, but it's just unfortunate that now not only are you giving your time but also money to be in a class and take it and hope to do well. When I was starting university, kind of in that well, honestly several months leading up to last fall where I was starting my program, I had a lot of anxiety surrounding just university as a whole. I was not only worried about, oh, this is gonna be so hard, like what if I don't pass anything? What if it's just so extremely difficult? What if I don't make friends? What if I don't know anybody? Like, all these things are going through my mind. But my biggest concern was the fact that, will I get to see and hang out with my family? Because I honestly thought that I would have no time. I would be dedicating 150% of my time to school. And I learned that you can be doing that. You can be giving school all of your time, but I learned to prioritize and manage my time. So over the course of the last 10 months, what I did was work really hard during the week. I would stay after class, I would work in between classes so that I can have the weekends off from school. Most weekends I would not do any homework and I would spend time with my family, because that is extremely important to me. Stefan will never be this age again. School will always be there, do you know what I mean? And by saying that, I don't mean I'm jeopardizing school because I want to spend time with Stefan. I am learning to balance both. I feel during the week I don't get to see Mitchell and Stefan very much, just because Mitchell works, Stefan has daycare, like we don't get to see each other all day like we do on the weekends. So I really want to and wanted to spend as much time as possible with them and not worry about my son not getting enough attention from me. Having said that though, I have had incidences where there's so much coming up and things are piling on, and I just needed a weekend, like a day of the weekend, to go to school and just study or work or whatever for 8 hours straight. And in those instances I would ask my mom or something to take Stefan for the day, so that I can go and do this with no distractions and just get it done because it needed to be done. And thankfully I do have the supports in my life that are able to accommodate those things, so hopefully you do as well. But that's definitely something I would strongly recommend, even if you don't have a child. Like, work hard during the week and then take the weekend to relax and recharge for the upcoming week. It really did help with the mental health for sure. I do apologize if you're hearing noise. I live on a very busy street and there's also kids screaming out all the time. Something that I was told on many occasions was to avoid the spring semester. And if you're unfamiliar with it, and I don't know how it works everywhere, but at my school it's 2 full semesters and then spring and summer are condensed. So they are both only 2 months each instead of 4. So I was told to avoid it because it's a lot of work and it's hard and it's a GPA destroyer. But in my mind, I'm always thinking, how could one class double time be harder than taking 5 at a regular pace? Didn't make sense to me, so I ignored everybody and took a spring class. And the reason I did take a spring course was because I took only 4 classes in the fall and then I took 5 in the winter, and they do advise that you take 10 classes a year to stay on track. So I was 1 behind and I decided to catch up and take it in the spring. The reason I took 4 in the fall was because I just didn't know what I was getting into and I didn't want to overwhelm myself, and still, you know, 5 classes is a lot. And in the winter I did struggle a little bit. I'm glad I took the 4 in the fall. Well, okay, listen. I would recommend taking 4 your first semester. My camera ran out of space, but we're back. It's okay. I'm sorry things changed around. But like I was saying, I assume that 5 classes is like the full-time normal number of courses to take. For me, I decided I would only take the 4 because I don't want to overwhelm myself and just set myself up for failure. So I thought I would take it a little bit easier, but the classes I ended up taking, some were super easy, so I wish I would have known better like what the class would look like and what would it entail, so that I would have kind of moved things around better and set things up a little bit more strategically. But that's okay because it worked out. But in this winter, I had awful classes, you guys. They were so bad. I had one class, the one I liked was my English one, which is shocking because I thought it would be like my least favorite one. But it ended up being my favorite, and the rest just were awful. I ended up passing everything I took, so I am all caught up. I have 10 classes under my belt, which is so exciting, which means I'm a quarter of the way to my degree, which is just so thrilling. But it's just so discouraging and so stressful to fail a class because you're paying for this class. You're throwing money out the window if you're not doing well, you know? And it's unfortunate because sometimes it's not always your fault that you fail a class, and I mean most of it, but sometimes, you know, you have an awful teacher and they don't know what they're talking about. I had one class where there was no midterm or final because everybody's in the past failed those, so that must say something, right? I actually ended up even making honors roll, so honestly, if you try and you motivate yourself and you keep on top of things, you'll do just fine. And I didn't think I would, but I mean, I obviously knew that this was what I was going to be doing. I knew I was going to be going to school. It was just really stressful. I knew I would get through it, but I just didn't know how. But going back to my spring class that everybody told me not to take, and I think they have their good reasons for saying that. Like, I had some friends that were in anatomy, and I imagine that could be torturous. But for me, I took a stock market class, and fortunately that class wasn't very assignment heavy. There were readings that unfortunately I didn't do because I just didn't feel like they were necessary, and they weren't. I did fine. But I do see how a very complicated and dense class could be difficult to do in this spring semester that's only half the time than you normally would have. But at the same time, you don't have enough time to get bored of anything you're talking about, or just, I feel like by the time you realize that, oh, I want to be done, you're done. You know, it's only 2 months. I only had it twice a week, which was awesome. They were 3-hour lectures, which is kind of long, but I mean, I've had 3-hour lecture in the past. Like, it was fine. So like I did say, I believe that spring could be difficult, and I know some people took 2 classes. I only wanted to take 1 because I didn't want to overwhelm myself, and I was just so tired of school at this point that I did not want to be overwhelming myself. So I took 1, and honestly it was fairly easy. Not necessarily the content or anything, but just keeping up with it. I did not feel super overwhelmed. There were a couple of big assignments, there was some group work, there was a simulator we all had to do, things like that, but it was honestly enjoyable and fairly easy for me to complete, and I did very well in it. Also, you guys, I figured out that you don't need to be striving and making A+ grades all the time. You know, C's get degrees, and I don't want to promote that, and I don't want to tell you that that's how I live my life, but I have had desperate moments where I was on the final grade calculator and I was trying to figure out the grade I need to pass a class. And a lot of the time, I would log in and it would be like, you need a 4%. And it's like, wow, okay, this makes things a million times less stressful. I don't need to go in there freaking out about thinking I'm gonna fail this class when all I need is a 4%. Like, come on, 4%, write your name down and like circle C a few times, you'll be fine. I even had those things come out to be like -58. And do you know how relieving that is to be like, no matter what happens on this exam, I am passing this class, I'm getting the credits, and I'm that much closer to my degree. And yeah, if you want to go to grad school, you need good grades, you need a good GPA. But if perhaps that's not your plan, you don't need to kill yourself with homework and studying and doing all these incredible things. And you know what? I think it's amazing, and I'm not saying I lowball my stuff. No, I always do my best, I try my best, I study my butt off. But if I don't get a 98% on a test, I don't cry over it. And that may be terrible for some of you to hear, like, oh, she's, you know, encouraging bad grades or whatever. I'm not at all. I think you should try your absolute best. But if you really did try your best and you didn't do as great as you thought, maybe try harder next time, or just take a step back and be like, you know what? This is good. I'm doing fine in this class. Like I said, unless you're going to grad school, you really do not need to be making extremely stellar grades, because if you have those credits, if you pass those classes, you get your degree. So why lose more sleep over it when you can take an extra nap? But as I'm saying this, do not get caught up in the whole I'll be fine. You need to make sure you're actually fine. Do your best and make sure that you are striving for those good grades so that you do feel good about the work you're doing and you feel accomplished. I have most definitely had nights where I was up till 2-3 a.m. working on a paper. I never really studied that late because I know that doing that at 3 a.m. is completely useless. But papers also, writing papers is completely useless at that time also, because who can think well? Well, not I, for sure. But it had to get done, you know, I had to sit there, I needed to do references, I needed to do things, I needed to get it done at a certain point so that I can have enough time to proofread it, to edit it, to make sure it's cited well, even send it for review, because I wanted to do well. And in the last 10 months, I have had maybe 2 or 3 weeks where I didn't have the constant pressure on my shoulders of, I have an assignment coming up, there's a test, there's a project, I have an exam to study for. And it is the most incredible feeling ever, and I'm so tired from those 10 months. So I'm so happy to be having a little bit of time off, because it really does take a toll. I had a little bit of a break between my winter and spring semester, and I was honestly just so down and just so exhausted, and all I wanted to do was sleep. And I knew that that was not okay, and I needed to get out of that terrible mindset and terrible state, because it just didn't feel good. I was so unmotivated, but I got through it. I got through my spring class. Here I am. I'm doing so much nowadays, and it just feels great. Like, it really does. I love getting stuff done, but it's just nice to have a change versus working on homework all the time, that now I get to do other things, and I'm enjoying it so much. I think Stefan has been such a blessing through this time, because like I said, I do take the weekend off from school and spend time with him in Mitchell. And I think if he wasn't around, I don't think I would be taking that time to relax and be with them and just distract myself from school. And I think it's so important that you take breaks, that you take some me time, that you just take care of yourself, because you cannot go for 4 years straight and not die in the process. It's also so important to involve yourself in other things than just school. Not only is it good for your soul, but also looks great on resumes when you did well in school, but you also contributed to all these things. And you know what? On top of being a mom and being a full-time university student, I also had a part-time job, which I still have. And I worked once in a while, I did. And again, it wasn't easy. Sometimes I had to call in because I had a paper due that night or something like that. And it's happened. And you know what? They weren't happy with me, but like, priorities. So yeah, again, it's realistic. You can do it. I've been doing it. You can do it. If you are just starting college, don't be so scared. I know I was, and I know it's easier said than done, but just know it'll be okay, and you need breaks and you need to distract yourself. So don't quit your job. Don't cut off all your friends, because you cannot isolate yourself, because I think that can end really badly. Ask for help, whether that's with your school stuff or to be taken out and distracted from the stuff that you're doing. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, just be involved. Don't lose your people because you're at school now, because you know what, everybody, okay, not everybody goes to school, but people go to school and they still have lives, and they're very social, and they do all these amazing things. So don't fall into the tracks of, I'm only doing book stuff, because that's so boring. But again, having said that, don't allow other things outside of your school affect your work and affect your grades, because you will most likely regret it in the long run when you realize, oh, I've been doing this when I really should have been focusing on my school, because that, again, is, for me at least, a great priority. Of course, Stefan takes #1 spot for sure, but school is a very close second, because that's my future, that's my career. Like, I need to focus on this, I need to do this, and I need to buckle down for the next 3 years and just get it done, because it'll be over it before I know it, hopefully. I know this first year flew by so fast, and everybody says that, and you don't believe it in the moment when you're up at 3 a.m. doing a paper. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
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 How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good now.
So that's pretty much everything I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about. There might be more things, most likely more things, but I forgot. So maybe there'll be a part 2 or something if there's enough. But I would love to answer any comments or questions you guys may have down below. I'm constantly talking to you guys and answering all of your fun comments, so thank you so much for leaving them, and I would love to read more, so go ahead and leave some more below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you like these kind of sit down chat videos, because I'd love to make more for you guys. And if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you do. I update you guys all the time. I have stories every single day and I post fun photos frequently, so make sure you go and follow me on there. Again, I'm responding to comments and DMs all the time as well, so that's an awesome place to reach out to me. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do. I upload videos every single week. I really hope you guys are enjoying the frequent content, because I'm working really hard to make sure that you guys get 2 videos a week nowadays. I am not concretely solidifying Wednesdays as an upload day, but it has been happening recently. But Sundays, 8 a.m., 100% you will get a video unless something dramatic happens. But as of right now, Sunday 8 a.m. is a safe bet that you will have a video from me. Mountain Standard Time, that is, because that is my local time zone and I can't wrap my head around other time zones, so we stick to my own. So 8 a.m., but if that's too complicated, click the bell so you just get a notification when it's uploaded. I love you all so much and cannot wait to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. I love you so much. Bye!
So I choke you down just like a